Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Bye. Next time. I appreciate you tuning in. I have an interesting title today. My title is Are Immigrants Fighting for Themselves? Lately, again, they've been calling for black people to come and help them fight, but I recommend against it. Years ago, I had said, the city that I live in, we were losing a lot of residents. Maybe we should become a sanctuary city. But now I see that that would have been a grave mistake. Because if we had done that, they would have ICE all up in our town. And that's what's happening in Chicago. You see, what's been happening is they're trying to get us to come out and join in this mayhem, all this protesting so they can put a black face on people fighting with the police and fighting with ICE, because they're going to pick a fight with us if we go out there. And we've been cool with it. We just been lying low and they don't know how to react. But in Chicago, they had a lot of mostly black women talking about what the police was doing there. But what they're not telling you is that the police didn't and ICE didn't come there after black people. Black people lived in the building. But that was a building where there was a lot of immigrants staying, because Chicago is a sanctuary city, just as Los Angeles and New York is. And they brought a lot of immigrants there, gave them food stamps, housing, yet they had homeless people there who wasn't given those things. And what happened was they they went in there after those immigrants, of course, because it says 37 people were arrested. None of them were black. The black people were detained, but they weren't arrested. Those children that they was talking about, those weren't black children. See, those were people from El Salvador. What happened was they were living in that building where some black people were, and they said the people didn't. Some of them didn't have electric. They running cords all through the building, and see, there were black people. We don't need these people in our spaces because they bring trouble to us when they come. Excuse me. We don't need them in our spaces. We're doing good. We're doing good by ourselves because um, we don't go into their spaces. We don't need them in ours. We got all type of people coming after us now. White people, oh, you all built this country. You did this. You did that. We know that, but no need to try to flatter us now. They're trying to get. There's some white people trying to get black people. You're the only one who can help us. What was you when we needed your help? No, we'll sit this one out, and because see, they're hurting you by on the streets, but they're hurting us legislatively. They're drawing back every accomplishment that we've made, but it's just still not affecting us. So what if they take us out of Smithsonian? See, black people are concerned about things that are going to affect our day-to-day life. Not say because they take your name out of stuff. They stop. They take your monuments down. Black people don't care about that. If you remember, the black people didn't even care about the Confederate monuments. White people made a big deal over it. Then we did. They just come in our neighborhood with the Confederate flag on their truck and all that. We didn't even pay any attention. Didn't mean anything to us. So, black people are concerned about things like redlining. Can't get certain things even though our credit is good. Reparations that you owe us. We're not concerned about those little things like monuments and all that. That's why you don't see us desecrating other people's monuments. Emmett Till, every year they had to fix his grave back up. You gonna desecrate the grave of a boy because a white man killed him. Some white men killed him. You don't see black people desecrating Confederate monuments. And see if Charlie Kirk was a black man who said and white people didn't like him, they'd be desecrating his grave. But black people don't do stuff like that. We're too mature for that. We care about stuff that's going to affect us. Someone's monument don't affect us. So that's why I say we have don't let these people flatter you and get you to come out there and join all those protests. We didn't ask them to come join the protests. They came on their own. A lot of white people, it was mostly white people in the Black Lives Matter protest. But we didn't ask them to come. They came on their own. And we didn't ask Hispanics for anything. Do you know that there was this black, he was a Nigerian. He was an immigrant. He owned a very successful business. And he said that the Mexicans would come to him. Said, look, we're both immigrants. We need to stick together. And they'd say that the black people are lazy. Some of their people, they want him to fire the black people and bring their people on. That because they knew most immigrants don't like black people, including the Africans. But he wouldn't do it, and he told the black people what was going on. But a lot of immigrants, even Africans, would go along with that. That's why he felt so comfortable coming to this man saying that the Mexicans, they would have a trucking company. Black guys have his trucks, black Mexicans have their truck. The Mexicans would go and undercut the prices. Everyone had an established price. And, everybody just got their load and everyone was doing fine. Then they found out the Mexican was getting more. They went and undercut the prices to try to take over the market and block all the black people out. To the point where they weren't even making any money because it was pricing so low, but they were just trying to knock everyone else out. So they pulled out these dirty tactics on us. The Mexicans, I know the Latinos did, especially the Mexicans. They put a lot of dirty tactics. Now in Chicago, they're gonna have a problem because Chicago has mostly Puerto Ricans and they have citizenship status. Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States. They even have a governor, and they even vote in the presidential elections. So they're gonna have a time, with the Latinos up there in Chicago. But those are Salvadorians. They went into that apartment building after, but it makes it seem like as though they were going there invading a black building. Like I said, they detained some black people because when they go in after somebody, they have to secure the building, secure the area. But they didn't arrest any black people. But you hear the black people crying out for those little Latino children and those Latino people, but black people are like that with other people. Black people are very compassionate with other people. I just wish we could be that way with each other. Because they don't cry out for us. They laughed at us on everything that they saw us doing, and we didn't participate in anything. That's why I say I don't know why so many black people run to their holidays, Cinco de Mayo. You have more black people celebrating Cinco de Mayo than you do Juneteenth and Kwanzaa. Those people don't care about you. No other people would do that but black people. Packed Cinco de Mayo. My brother come out to Juneteenth or Kwanzaa. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back in about 60 seconds. Give me about 60 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for staying with me. I had to go and run and straighten something out real quick. I'm watching different monitors around here. I'm watching Facebook monitor and the YouTube monitor. And soon I'll be watching the Roku monitor. Yeah. But look, yeah, I know I talk about this a lot. But I gotta make sure our people are getting it. We have to look out for ourselves. We looked out for other people for far too long. They Everyone else got rights through our struggles. The civil rights bill would help a lot of white women get jobs, different other people, Asians and all, but other people benefited more than we did. And see now, they've stopped lying, even in the statistics. They tell the truth now. And they're finding out that 78% of welfare recipients are white. And they're not even 78% of the population. Most crimes are committed by white males, 75%. They're not 75% of the population, but they're often made it like as though black men were committing most of the crime, or black people. See, black people, we do things to each other. We don't do things to other people. And when we do things to other people, it don't be because of their race. It be because of something that happened, and we don't do anything to them that we don't do to black people. And I quote you these stats before, and I'm going to quote it again. 75%. No, I'm sorry. This from the FBI report in 2000. Should be coming out this year. Should be out this year. I'm going to have to look it up. Stop being lazy and look it up. But 90% of violent crime among black people is committed by less than 2% of the people, and they're repeated offenders between the ages of 14 and 22. Because when black people grow up, get jobs and all, start making money, we stop committing crimes. Black people, most things black people do is tied to economics, not being innately is in our genes to be violent and commit crime. We don't have that history. Others do. We don't have a history of violently doing things to other people. Others do. When you look at the history, they'll look at a position that they put us in where make a lot of our people commit crime, and we don't really commit that much crime. You want to know why it seems as though black people commit a lot of crime? Excuse me. Something about being in here that makes me cough. I put an air purifier in there. I don't do it until I come in here. But look, um, white people, you don't hear as much. You notice how you watch these TV shows and you hear about these white people committing all these crimes, but you don't ever hear about it. You know why? Because white people they're spread out. They're more spread out. They're all over this nation. There's a lot of places in this nation where you can find no black people. That's why when they say they want all white cities, they already have them. Most white people live in all white cities. And those sundown towns they're talking about, most black people don't know about them anyway. There's usually some of the towns black people wouldn't come to anyway. Black people like larger cities better. I mean, black people wouldn't be calling those towns sun up, let alone sundown. But see, black people live more congested. Black people live mostly in large metropolitan areas. A few southern states, black people kind of spread out. But by and large, black people live in metropolitan areas. And that's why when you see during the presidential election, you see the color of the map, just about the whole state is red. Rural white people vote Republican. And when you get up by the large cities, it's blue. But there's more people in the large cities, than there is in the outlying area. Look at Missouri. Missouri is all red till you get to St. Louis and Kansas City. And you can notice the white people who hate black folks the most don't even be around the black people. See all that crap they talk about black people? Most of them never be around. All on Facebook, same old suspect, 13%. And we find out you the one committing all the crimes. You've been lying all the time. But well, not all, but the majority of the crimes. Those white people don't even be around the black people. And a lot of those social media posts, those are bot posts that many of them white people put up. That's why so many white people be on those posts. Black people, y'all put up some of them now. But white people put up a lot of them too, all those fight posts and all. And most of them don't be real. How you hit somebody 20 times in the face, the face don't puff up. You know, so most of those fight posts that black people fighting, you don't see any injuries. All that punching, you don't see any injuries. I said I never saw no fights like that in my life. I saw about a month ago, right down here in the city a service station. Some women they all jumping on this woman and fighting, and they ran up in the gas station. And you know what I found out later? They say it was fake. Those women was fake fighting, just to get on social media. And then see that's low down. See, you ruin your ethnic image when you do stuff like that. Because each group has an ethnic image, and ours is not that good. But see what I was saying about crime is that we're congested. Okay, in the state of Illinois, white people live mostly in the outlying areas. Black people and white people and different people of color live mostly in the metropolitan areas. If there's 20, I gave this scenario before, but I have to say it again. Let's say there's 25 murders all over the state of Illinois on the weekend. There's 5 in Chicago over the weekend. Let me say unalive. I keep forgetting I can't say those words. Okay, about. You're not going to even hear about those in the outlying area because they're not even running media circuits. You're going to hear about that 5 in Chicago done by black people because they're in the metropolitan area, they're around the news networks. But things get reported more. And that's why it seems like black people commit more unalivings and more violent crimes. And the immigrants, do you know that many of the people of color were even included in black crime stats? And one of the things about the crime stats, when they compile the crime stats, they don't compile actual charges. They list arrests as a crime. Who gets arrested more? Black people do. How many times you see black people sitting around saying, white person doing something, oh, if he was black, they'd be taking him to jail by now. See, white people, they investigate. If warrant be, they arrest. Black people, they arrest, investigate, warrant be, they release. And they usually release. That's why most black people get exonerated from their arrest than white people do. Look it up for yourself. Everything I say, you can look it up for yourself. Because I don't say what I think. If it's just my thoughts, I say so. When I say stuff like this, it's statistics that you can look up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Yeah, but getting back to the immigrants, we need to keep them out of our circle. Don't let them come up and hide and all that around you. Bring all those different forces up in our neighborhood. We're at peace right now. And if everyone else is in turmoil, that's their problem. No one ever cared about us. See, we've only been free for 61 years. We're a resemblance of freedom. We've never been completely free, but a resemblance of freedom because after slavery, black people were freed for a while. We started doing well. They did a Reconstruction. They started Jim Crow. That lasted into 64. That was a semi-form of slavery. So black people only been what you could call free 61 years. And look at how we've done since then. Then they put feminism out in the black community. Black man couldn't say boo to a black woman without getting in trouble, so he moved aside. The women took over, and that's the time that we haven't made any gains since they took over. I mean, it's got, and so now, it's stunted us again. But we just have to rebound. The men need to take back over our communities and get back started again. They've ruined the Democratic Party with feminism, putting all that old LGBTQ in it, jumped a lot of the men off from that. But feminists, they do that. They go for all that old LGBTQ stuff. Homosexuality, that's all it is. But look, we got to think about ourselves. I'm talking about black people. I'm not talking about no black women and black men like y'all, like the women would say. Now, if you're going to be black people with us, be black people. If you want to go by yourself with women, go ahead. If you start getting that dome split, don't come running to us. Because they will take advantage of you. They take advantage of their own women. They fight more of their own women than they have of you. See, black men have always, not a lot of black women say we need to go and create our own job. They haven't that been what black men was doing, and you made fun of him. You need to go get a real job, even though he was making more money than you. And it wasn't illegal either. We don't need a degree to make a lot of money. Even on a legal job, a regular job. And most of us do legal stuff. If you notice in the black community, you don't see all those drug dealers like you used to. But white people still have them. Hispanics and Latinos and all them, they still have them. The most you see black people do maybe smoke weed. That's not a hard drug. But see, when things happen good for us, you don't hear about that. You only hear about the bad. We got black people doing all type of amazing things. A lot of white people don't know about say black people haven't contributed anything. They just don't know. They haven't contributed anything. Most things been built by us, and even Latinos doing a lot of the constructions. Black people used to do it. White people got into it after they invented machinery to help them out. If you notice any job a white man does, he has to have a lot of tools. And he can't get it done. The tools really doing the job. Black people did the building, the planting, came over here from Africa, showed them how to plant rice. The slaves weren't no dumb people. See, people would seem dumb if they can't speak the language, don't know in a land, don't know what's going on. But they taught them how to smelt certain urns that they didn't, certain iron ore they had here they didn't know about. The slaves showed them. That's why the slaves was building the White House and the whole infrastructure. Even the ones in the North was doing that type of work, building the infrastructure. Then, when it came time to build a railroad, that was hard work. You got the Chinese to do that. When black people stopped doing farm work, you got the immigrants, mostly Mexicans, to do that. You notice they don't stay out tomorrow. Why come blacks don't come out in the field? Why come whites don't come out in the fields? Get your own people for a change. So what have white people contributed? See, when you're running something, it can seem like you doing everything when you're not. Most of the tech in in this nation is not coming from white people. It's coming from immigrants, people from India and Nigeria and different places. Nigerians is one of the most prosperous ethnic groups in this nation. Very smart people. Ghana, they've been building their own jet liner for over close to 40 years now with a perfect flying record. Boeing doesn't even have that. But you don't hear about that. They make you think the Africans just running around out in the bush. Yeah, there's some that live out there because they choose to live out there. And there's those who live in the cities. Just like they did when you came and stole them and bought them from their enemies who was not their people. They were different ethnic groups. They had cities then. They wouldn't run around naked with bones in their nose like they try to depict them on television. White people have been fed so much propaganda until they really don't know what's going on. They don't know real society. That's why when they finally started coming around black people and seeing what was going on, they started siding with us. That's why they took over Black Lives Matter. Black people actually stopped protesting after Ferguson. It kept waning off to almost none at all. Excuse me, I told you when I was live streaming some of the protests, there was one that said it was 600 people there. It was all black people on the stage. I turned around and filmed the audience. I couldn't find a black person. When the people pulled the gun on the Black Lives Matter, it was calling all protests Black Lives Matter because there was really no structure to Black Lives Matter. When they pulled the gun, that couple that pulled the gun on the people, you know what they said? Well, it wasn't because of race, because the people we put it on were white. Those were white protesters. And I saw on the videos that from black people came back and was telling trying to get the white people to come on, don't pay them any attention. Though. Black people wouldn't have paid them any attention. All the black people would have been strapped. But they used to people doing stuff like that. Most black people, veterans of this, we know all about protests. You see the people who were killed at Kyle unalived. The people who Kyle Rittenhouse unalived. They were white men. Because you know why? Black people wouldn't have engaged him like that. Black people make them feel silly walking around with their gun, no one paying you any attention. Getting to the place when the Klansmen try to march around black people. Black people stand around and laugh at them. They get up and leave. They've been trying to come to MAGA, been trying to come to HCBU campuses, come up in black areas, tried to go run up in a black church. They told me, you're not coming up in here. Well, why not? Because I said you're not. Somebody they got a right to, you don't have a right to come in a church. A church can let in there whoever they want to and keep out whoever they want to. Just as black people, because black people have went to white churches for service and were denied entry. Remember, what's his name? Dylan Roof, the one killed the 9 black people in the church. I know they wish they had denied him entry, but you know what he said? He said when he came in, the people were so nice to him, he had second thoughts. But then he said he had to finish his mission. He said the people were so nice to him, he almost had second thoughts. So you see, black people are not the problem in this nation. People of color been more problems than us. Quit putting them in our crime stats. Trying to inflate our crime stats. And you people of color, Latinos, all of it, stop asking us to help you. I don't see any is any European immigrants being deported? See, a lot of people praise Trump for the immigrants. I don't praise Trump for nothing. Because his motives is not good. He's trying to stop the drowning of the United States out of racial hatred. So I don't commend him for nothing. Even if we benefit from something he does, I don't commend him. Because his reasoning is evil. And if some evil happens and you happen to benefit from it, I don't commend the evil. I'll take the benefits, but I'm not going to commend the evil. And that's what Trump is, evil. He does things out of an evil nature. Now with the HCBU, they took money from their diversity program that was for Asians and Hispanic and gave it to the HCBU, which was a good thing. That don't get Trump out of the woods. Because he'll do that and then later on take the HCBU money. Trump's the type of person who will flatter you, then do something the next day to harm you. So you can't go by anything that comes out of his mouth or any moves he makes. Never trust the devil, no matter how good he may come. Because the immigrants were their darlings. The immigrants hated us. They did all types of stuff against us. All out in LA, they just about went to war with black people. Somebody get out of their neighborhood and say, you get out of our neighborhood. And black people had to beat a lot of them down. And then, I'll make it so bad, they'll open up a store in a black neighborhood. Then when the black person open up a store in their neighborhood, they don't want them there. See, a lot of black people need to do that. So a black person need to open up some stores in some Arab and Asian neighborhoods. They're not going to let you, or they're not going to patronize you. But we'll make them rich. I'm so glad immigrants didn't want to come live around us. They did us a favor. They thought they was doing something smart. They did us a favor not living around us. We don't need you around us. I know I certainly don't want you around us because you're going to bring us trouble. Have you seen Latinos when they're in the store? They're in a world all their own. Don't want to be bothered with anyone but each other. The Africans also. But now, they're talking about, you should see them all on YouTube everywhere asking black people, come help them. Only you can do it. Oh, we're so important now. We're so bright and intelligent and so skillful now. What happened to all those names you used to call us? Lazy and all that. How are we lazy? It's the type of money we have. Just our spending power alone. If we were a nation, we'd be the 17th richest nation in the world. Do you know that? Black people in America. And that's just spending power. That's not all we got. We could have all we got. We probably be the 14th richest nation in the world. But you know what our problem is? You know why we seem poor? Because we don't spend our money in our areas. Our dollars circulate one time. The Asian dollars circulate maybe 10 times before it leaves the community. Right here where I live in East St. Louis. We go to the store, we got all these Arabs and Asians with stores. They don't live here. They take that money out of the community. It turns over one time. They take it to their community and it turns over many times. So they're getting rich off their money and our money. We need to we need to get a black bank in these black areas. Let those businesses know that you have to open an account in this black bank. If not, you're not coming here. Let's see what's going on with my link. That's my CPU load. It's okay though. If not, you're not coming here. Because they're taking the money out of our community, keeping our community poor, while theirs get rich. And this so rice house down here on 38th State, the people in this town know what I'm talking about. You're making those people rich. I remember when hardly anyone going in there, but you know what happened? COVID. That's something that we do with these immigrants and no one else does. People who white people show some hatred to, we think like that make them our comrade. And we started going to them. Black people started packing that stuff to COVID. Same way that's how these Arab stores became popular. After 9/11 and the white people were against the Arabs, black people started packing their stores. If they start do it to somebody else, something happened with the Indians who's coming in now. You start packing their stores. But you know what? When people was doing stuff, again, white people doing stuff against us, did you see them packing our stores? Doing anything for us? We need to run these people out of our neighborhoods so some black business can flourish and try to attract some black businesses. Even if you got to relax some taxes for them. But you do it for these other people. And they take that money straight out of here. We spend our money everywhere else. So the money don't circulate here. It goes from hand to gone. When you put it in their hand, it goes one time to some foreigner, and he takes that money to a bank, or either a white bank or a bank in his community. And this community gets nothing. And you wonder why we're poor? Same thing happened in Africa, rich continent, but they're poor because everybody else is enjoying their wealth. They've learned, or they're learning. They're straightening that up, and Africa's on the rise. Europe and the United States is on the decline. And that's what they're afraid of. They're on the decline. The United States is never going to be in the position that it was once in. And Trump helped to hurry up that decline. No one trusts the United States anymore. One reason is because they feel the United States can't keep its word anymore. It's not stable anymore. To the United States was that's the reason the dollar was the world currency because of the stableness of the United States and the stable government. But now they see the United States is very unstable. This $17 trillion Trump say in investment, he's lying. From the tariffs, he's lying. He haven't negotiated anything with anyone. He's lost all the markets. Farming markets, the automobile dealerships leaving, Subaru's leaving. The Hyundai closed down. They came since people here to train American workers and they raided the plant. So South Korea closed it down in Tennessee. See, and another thing is that we have to see $17 trillion. That's China's economy. If you got that kind of money, you know, where's it at? Where is it? See, all this money Trump's talking about. The Treasury is not seeing it. Trump has made at least about $2 billion since he's been president in 9 months. And they're letting them get away with it. See, this government was founded by men of morals and ethics, how they could bend the game when they owned slaves when they made the Constitution, doing the right thing. This man is becoming a dictator, he's rogue, and they don't have anything in place to stop him. That's why other nations would have a military coup. Because no one else, they had a leader that no one else was stopping. We're gonna have to have the military take over. Face it, that just may not even be in the 2026 elections. It just not may be. He can call martial law and suspend elections. That's what he's trying to do. He said, especially we want a problem with black people. And we got to make sure we don't give them that. We have to make sure we don't give them that. Don't let them fool you, though. They were not raiding black people in Chicago. There was Salvadorians living in that building, mostly. And the 37 arrested weren't black people. Black people were detained because they were securing the building. Those weren't black children who were zip tied. No black citizens was arrested. So don't quit living around those people. But it really wasn't their fault. What happened was the Chicago's a sanctuary city, just as Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York. That's why they're talking about sending people to San Francisco. But what happened was they sent all those immigrants there. They got housing, food stamps, and some money. You had homeless people. How would you be homeless in Chicago? Just think about the homeless people in Chicago. They're out in the streets and they hear what they're giving all this to all to these immigrants when they needed themselves. They were putting some up in nice hotels, putting them in buildings where black people was at. Many of them had said, we don't want to go to black areas. What makes you think we want you there? But they sent them there anyway. They shouldn't allow them. They said they don't want to come, don't come. See, those people hate us. See, their way, the reason they never helped us in anything, when they come to this nation, they see emulating white people as their freedom and hating us, even the Africans. The Cubans have always hated black people. They hate Mexicans also. And if you notice, but you know what happened? Cuba is a mostly black nation. But look at the Cubans that here. They mostly allow the white Cubans to come in. Go down to Cuba, you're going to mostly see black people. See, Cuba, after Cuba fell to the communists, they allowed them to seek asylum here. And now, some of them been here over 60 years. And now they tell them to get out. That one rapper, they're sending him back, and they're gonna do something to him when he get down there because he made a song that went around the world that was criticizing the Cuban government. Two of the people who collaborated with him went back down there and was put in jail. Excuse me. Put in jail. What do you think gonna happen to him when he gets back? Oh, they were singing all that. I will vote for Donald Trump. They did. They thought they were white. Oh, Cubans thought that Dookie didn't stink. But now they find out that it do. When they get back to Cuba, it's gonna really stink. Some of them never been to Cuba. And you know what? Most of them they didn't send to Cuba. They sent them to other nations. But what I'm wondering is when they send them to other nations, when are they gonna ever let them go? They even sent some to Africa, some nations in Africa. Some place they've never been, don't understand the language. No, is it a life sentence for being an illegal immigrant? Is it a life sentence? Or they send those people there for slavery? But you know, slavery in this nation was never really abolished. It's still legal. You can still be a slave if you commit a criminal offense. Did you know that? That's why they set up these private prisons. You can be put back into slavery if you commit certain criminal offenses. It's in the Constitution. See, people showing all this now. But still black people, back to my subject. Get away from these immigrants. Leave them alone, don't harbor them, and try not to live around them. I'm glad most of them don't want to live around us. We don't need them around us. Stay as far away from them as you can. That little protest, stay out of that mess. You don't need to be in their protest. That's their protest, not ours. We need to do like we've been doing. Be vigilant and stay home. Stay out of that stuff. Go to work. Go home. Don't let, if you're in one of those cities where ICE is at, don't let your children get in groups and gangs of stuff and go places. Try to let them stay in till this mess is over with. Yeah, let them stay in till this mess is over with. Well, I'm not going to hold you long tonight, but I want to thank you for tuning in. I just want to get that out, that don't let them make you angry into thinking that they actually raided black people in Chicago. They didn't. They building had mostly Salvadorians in it. And the black people weren't arrested, they were detained. Anyone can be detained. I've been detained, but not arrested. Because when they come, they do have to secure the area. That's why the black people were detained. They said those Salvadorians were living so bad, no electric, running cords to each other, apartments. But see, where the black people was wrong at, they should have reported that. We're too good to other people. You shouldn't have put up with those people being in your building. We were just like mixing apples and oranges. We don't need to be together like that. We don't. I mean, running cords from one apartment to the next. Living like animals, stacked on top of each other. I remember when I was living in Los Angeles, they had a car accident with some Mexicans in it, and 10 people were killed. It was a one car accident. There were 10 people in that one car. Come on, you don't do no mess like that. So why would we want some people like that around us? They don't want to come in our neighborhood. Well, why'd you come? We don't want you there. Especially not now. But we need to look up for ourselves. I think black people doing good. We're not getting involved in other people's mess. And I'm proud of black people for that. And we're staying out of their mess. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, he really got me in that one sentence. He grew some balls, boy. He had that one sentence in his face and told him off. Gonna come to his office like he gonna check Jeffries. Jeffries came out in the hallway and let him have. Jeffries talks a little too slow. He needs to talk a little faster. See, Jasmine Crockett, she got a mouth. She can talk fast. Jeffries, people can kind of overtalk him because he didn't let it happen today. He pauses a lot when he talks. You have to keep it coming. Because when you pause, the other person will try to fill it in. But like I say, let's try to stay away from these other people as much as we can. The people you talk about, they didn't want to come around us, and we don't want them around us. And you see what they're doing out there? They're beating white people, knocking, dragging white women out in the street, slamming them down on the ground. And if they slam white women and white men down on the ground, beat them. If black folks go out there, what do you think we have coming? Even worse treatment. So stay out of that mess. Well, I'm not gonna hold you much longer tonight. When I see something new come up, I'll come back on. I just get that out because let you know they didn't raise black people in Chicago. They put some black faces on there to make it seem like they did. See, they want some black photo ops, but they're not getting them. So, keep on doing what you're doing, black folks. You're doing good right now. So thank you for tuning in. I got my cash up, but you can hit it if you like. Thank you for tuning in to No More Water Fire. Next time I'm gonna get out of here. And I'll see you next time. I'm gonna keep my cash up while I'm going off. In case you want to hit it. That's the way we do it in the 21st century now. When you're doing a podcast, that's the only way you can raise money, like through Cash App. Or start a membership club. And I don't want to do that. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time, all right? Be careful. Keep on doing like you're doing things, black folks. You're doing good.